My husband has left me. Was going to change my name but can't be bothered. In brief, my H has been having an affair for about 6 months, although only really known the person for 2 weeks. After 2 attempts to leave and begging to come back, he's now gone and is living with her. She's 26, already married, in a flat. He's 37, married, and we have 2 small daughters, 18 months and 3.5 years. As stupid as I sound, I'm trying to believe it's a midlife crisis and it can be resolved. We've both made mistakes in the past but have had masses of pressure. Or is he just an idiot who thinks he's in love? He's justifying his actions by saying our relationship would never have worked. Not true in my eyes, and after 13 years. Don't you expect rough patches? I think I'm hanging on to something that may no longer be there, and he's obviously left. But my daughters and I deserve more than a pathetic attempt at repairing our family life. We were such a great couple once. Any advice? Have managed to drag myself back to work after 8 days since he left. Thanks so much, particularly Sheila. Interesting to have a other woman's perspective. I'm stupid enough to have him back, but not sure if that's the right thing to do or not, even if he'll ever want to come back. He's admitted that he's infatuated. Presume now thinks he's in love. That's how he can qualify his actions. She thinks he's the one and wants to get married and have his children. He wants to see the children as much as possible, which I intend should happen. But I do think he needs a massive reality check and has no idea about what he's really done. He has to lean on women, usually goes for forceful, strong characters, and is very much a new man, did far more housework etc. than me. But despite being good-looking is fairly insecure and has admitted that she makes him feel important, sexy etc. She's also pursued him off and on via mails etc. However, he's a grown man and should have had the maturity to stop it before it started. I can't believe it's blind love, but then again I can't believe he's now living with her and he is. This is one of my more rational moments. Off to see a counselor this evening, just me. Thanks again, and would appreciate any other thoughts, interpretations. Big thanks to Amy, Mum's Netta, who has been brilliant. My friends have been fantastic despite the fact they lived miles away, have stayed with me. Phone constantly, and am staying with a great friend for bank holiday. The only family support is a mother with Alzheimer's. Bugsy, how are you coping? Hope you're doing okay. Sorry, me again. Just wondered whether anyone had experience of the below, but do realize all scenarios different. Thanks so much, particularly Sheila. Interesting to have a other woman's perspective. I'm stupid enough to have him back, but not sure if that's the right thing to do or not, even if he'll ever want to come back. He's admitted that he's infatuated. Presume now thinks he's in love. That's how he can qualify his actions. She thinks he's the one, and wants to get married and have his children. He wants to see the children as much as possible, which I intend should happen. But I do think he needs a massive reality check and has no idea about what he's really done. He has totally on women, usually goes for forceful, strong characters, and is very much a new man, did far more housework etc. than me. but despite being good-looking is fairly insecure and has admitted that she makes him feel important, sexy, etc. She's also pursued him off and on via emails, etc. However, he's a grown man and should have had the maturity to stop it before it started. I can't believe it's blind love, but then again I can't believe he's now living with her and he is. This is one of my more rational moments. Off to see a counselor this evening, just me. Thanks again and would appreciate any other thoughts, interpretations. Big thanks to Amy, Mum's Netta, who has been brilliant. My friends have been fantastic despite the fact they lived miles away, have stayed with me. Phone constantly and am staying with a great friend for bank holiday. The only family support is a mother with Alzheimer's. Bugsy, how are you coping? Hope you're doing okay. Sorry, me again. Just wondered whether anyone had experienced the below, but do realize all scenarios different. Thanks to all. Just got elder Dee off to sleep. Not surprisingly, she's rather upset as DH was V. Hansen. I sent him an email today not asking him to come back but pointing out how cruel it is for a 3-year-old to have a chart on her wall for when she meets her daddy. Lots of other poignant points which I hope make him feel like the bastard he is for not pointing to tiny girls before his own inadequacies. Not that I mentioned inadequacies. I've also sent him a notary bills to which he've added on my therapy sessions and Botox injections. Not needed as yet, but you never know. First therapy ways, okay, so that's a step forward. Thanks to all, and it really helps. Thanks for patience and understanding running out and wondering whether he's fit to be a father. Just found Aldous DD on the stairs screaming for daddy. I could lynch him. I know what you mean. I do assure you I'll be making him feel as guilty as hell, but as he really is such a brilliant dad, I'm be confused as to how on earth all this happened, as are all our friends. Such a cliche. I'm sure. I'm beginning to think if he is so weak and can get so infatuated at his stage and responsibilities in life, then it probably is pointless. Most people try to see both sides, but my sister would try to have me certified if I did consider a reconciliation. Can rather see her point. Thanks again. Off for a glass of Pinot Grigio before the onslaught of a 6:15 wake up with 2 wee ones and then not home till 7 p.m. He's visiting tomorrow but has to leave before I'm home. Thanks again. The irony is that I was always the dominant partner and probably took advantage of him in the past. Hence my conciliatory approach now. I have contacted a solicitor and have an appointment for next week. Also, seeing elder DD crying for daddy last night when he shacked up with some tart from the office is making rather a massive impact. She doesn't need a yo-yo daddy who's so insecure he succumbs to flattery. My resolve is strengthening. But then I think how great he is with DDS and how they love him. Gosh, it's confusing. Thanks, and I understand your logic but really don't intend that my DDS should be subjected to the other woman. Didn't intend that they'll meet for at least a year, presuming the relationship lasts that long, as I don't want to cause any distress with such a ridiculous setup in my DDS seeing their father in bed with someone else. Access is totally on my terms and based around our house, just him. He had this stupid idea that they, him and her, would provide so much support and the kids would stay over. My solicitor says he's living in La La Land. What I do find frightening is that he thinks that would be okay with our DDS. I do intend to bugger up their weekends though and have told him that if he plans any holidays weekends away in the next 6 months, I'll have his guts for garters. Ironically, we're supposed to be going to Sardinia on family first week of June. My lovely nanny is now coming, so he can holiday then. V cross today. M2 Toby. I know, and he's sent me his new address advising me not to call on the landline unless I want to run the risk of speaking to her. I think I may be in denial, but it just seems so ridiculous. I do believe that he has thought about it for a long time. We have a few counseling sessions. He had a few therapy sessions in Jan and February, seemed fine, even put an offer in on a house, and he was sending me emails saying how easily led Astri he was. Weak. I know. Not a good recommendation. And I believed him. However, as soon as she gets in touch he can't help himself. He didn't seem to get that it would take a year at least to get over the affair and lots of heartache. Maybe you're right. He says he's been unhappy and has thought about nothing else since Christmas. I just find it hard to accept and rather sad that he didn't stand on his own 2 feet for it. While other issues have bothered him, he did 70% of HTE. Childcare, much more housework than me, etc., and I thought ITWAS an escape route. I'm probably just fooling myself. But it just hurts so much for me, but more importantly, for 2 tiny girls. Thanks again. The worst thing is the confusion and uncertainty. I think I have to emotionally distance myself from him, not exactly easy, and try to start moving on with our lives. It's just so hard when you know he could transform our little DDS lives if he had a bit more backbone and resolve. To add insult to injury, his mother thinks we're reconciled, saw us together after Christmas. He left us on Boxing Day. Nice. And I left to go to San Francisco to stay with my sister. A friend met me at the airport and got USALL upgraded to business class, nevertheless 12 hours off, endless weeping, and 2 little DDS who didn't sleep on the plane was awful. The air hostesses had me on suicide watch. After he'd begged us to come back and promised to do anything, we went to see his mother in hospital. She has a leukemia, gave her a huge boost, and his father, understandably, doesn't want her to know he's since left. Again, as he thinks it will set her back. So I have to lie if his mother calls. He hasn't of course thought about the fact that it means she won't see me, children, for ages and ages. Ash can't ask the DDS to Lionel. The DD thinks daddy lives in a boy's house. How is he going to explain that? He has no idea of the destruction he's causing. I'd never stop him seeing the DDS. We've agreed every couple of days. He's seeing him this evening and tomorrow evening. I don't think he deserves to be a father at the moment, but my DDS deserve a dad. I'm not happy about lying, and I'm not really even that fond of his mother, but I really don't want to hurt her when she's so vulnerable. He's got to sort it out, and I will eventually tell him that, but in the interim I intend to keep quiet. My sister says I should use it as leverage against him in case he gets difficult about money. Can't you tell she's a... Don't forget to share, like and subscribe for more content.